Taking off in less than 4 hours, Boeing's 737 MAX 9. Alaska Airlines said it's followed the FAA's intensified inspection criteria and now plans for the first MAX 9 flight to depart Seattle. The MAX 9s have been grounded, you might recall, since early January when a door panel blew off a plane at 16,000 feet. The fridge-sized hole left behind sucked socks off feet, phones out of hands, even the shirt off a child, according to passengers on board. Let's discuss now with Sarah Nelson. She's president of the Association of Flight Attendants. Sarah, thank you so much for being with us. What are you hearing from flight attendants for Alaska Airlines about returning to the MAX 9?
Alaska flight attendants are extremely upset with Boeing's executives that they never should have been put in this position in the first place. But we are out in the crew rooms and working with the company to make sure that they have full information about the inspections, about the maintenance updates, in order to return these aircraft to service. This isn't where this ends, obviously. We're going to have to keep working, and we want to make sure that flight attendants have all of the information necessary to explain the safety of these flights, of these planes returning to service to the passengers, and feel comfortable themselves getting back on the planes. And there's a lot of apprehension that we're dealing with, but we're getting through it with the facts.
Were the flight attendants that are set to fly on the MAX 9 today given any extra guidance on how they should comport themselves, what to look out for, what to tell passengers?
Mostly what to tell passengers and what was done in terms of the inspections and the maintenance updates as required by the FAA. And I want to commend FAA Administrator Michael Whitaker, who has taken a very, very stern approach to this and made sure that he is right on top of it, demanding that these inspections are fulsome, and that we can have a lot of confidence as pilots and flight attendants getting back on these planes to get back up in the air. The flight attendants have to fully understand that so that they can feel comfortable too, and we're making sure that that is happening.
What was your message, your group's message to those members that were hesitant to get back on board the MAX 9?
Well, look, we have been supporting the crew of 1282, who we have to commend, because no one died here, and this could have been very different if we had not had the professional work of both pilots and flight attendants on board. And this is an experience that that crew never should have experienced. No one should have ever experienced, or the terrifying moments that those passengers went through on that flight. And so we've had a lot of work to do to support that crew, but also the other flight attendants and pilots who could have been working that flight. And there has been a lot of work to help them understand that we're working very closely with the NTSB through the investigation, making sure that we're putting forward recommendations to make sure this never happens again, working with the FAA very closely to make sure that there is continued oversight, greater oversight, in terms of getting these aircraft certified in the first place, but also in the production lines. And so the follow through here with the FAA and the NTSB recommendations coming out of this investigation is very important, and an important part of feeling confidence about getting back on Boeing aircraft. You know, the people at Boeing, the engineers and the maintenance people, those are all wonderful people. And the problem here has been in the C-suite that needs to be completely replaced, along with Boeing's board. We need to focus on investing in that great brand and in the people at Boeing who can create great aircraft but have been unable to do their jobs because of shareholder capitalism.
Sarah Nelson, we appreciate you sharing your perspective with us. Just watching that video, it's crazy, and as you noted, we're fortunate that no one was actually hurt. Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you very much.
Of course. Brianna?